Today on Gamers Couch.
Mascerade.
And...
Avalon. Avalon.
Hi guys!
Hey!
Happy Sunday!
It's again the Christmassy...
Second Advent. And you might just recognize or see or whatever. Something's different. Yes. I'm looking at my Advent calendar present from my lovely husband. I must have been very nice this year because, well, there's new lights for video shooting and we're trying them first time today.
So if we are vampire sparkly looking in appearance to you on the internet, no, isn't it just the guys who have the rings under the eyes and then the sparkly and...
The girls too, but I just wanted to bite you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have no... For me, vampires are still steak hard, and then that's how it works. So...
Go! I'm having so many bad and naughty ideas now.
Typical Christmas topic. And while talking about that typical Christmas topic, since Christmas is also one of those festivities where you have to, well...
Lie at least to your kids.
See family and spend time with them and lie a lot. Lie to the kids, lie to folks who give you presents that are awful, lie to the people... Spouses. Lie to the people while shopping. It's like, oh yeah, this is so nice with the music and
Santa's real.
Yeah, there's so Christmas is the official festivities of lies. So today we talk about two bluffing games, which the main component is to lie about stuff.
Also, just as last week, you are going to open, with this lovely person next to me, you're gonna open his new Advent calendar box, present, bag, whatever gift. So stay tuned for that to the end of the video.
So I actually did not lie last week. I was happy to see what was in the box. And also, then you don't know this because... Well, you are from the future and we are from the past, but we're recording this one day early. So I might get
I was not about to say that.
I might get a look earlier at that stuff, but
it's just a couple of hours.
I will pretend that I forget stuff anyway. So.
Yeah, but
what are we doing here?
Eating.
Oh, okay.
No, it's Sunday night. It's Saturday night.
No, it's Sunday.
So it's
it's totally Sunday.
So it's actually just a couple of hours that we're shooting this early to enable me for more time or to whatever editing.
And that's also why we are suddenly awake, because we are actually awake for some time, not with our typical video shoots on Sunday.
Where he's like... Can I get another hour before shooting?
All those games I have to talk about.
Come on, be energized and, well, tell us all about the gameplay and rules of Mascerade.
Yeah, and let's start with Mascerade. This wonderful... Now,
is it still glaring? I have to look at the...
It is glary, but now I only have 2 points of light. So if I hold it up properly into the camera... and you see some of the shadows are now actually more prominent. So if I hold this up into the camera, you can actually...
Make it that the box has antlers, make it.
So this reindeer box of Mascerade.
Sorry.
And this is in fact the first game where actually holding the box in front of a face fits, because it's a masquerade.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see in
comparison
to the Christmas reference, Doug, this is a small game, which surprisingly I hope you can read this number. It's fit for 2 to 13 people. This is gold in your collection if you want to play with family or with several people and you always don't like the question of what do we play, how do we split the groups. This is I can play this with the entire family without compromising. So what is Masquerade about? Masquerade comes with a whole bunch of lovely cards of different roles, and everybody gets one of those cards, and then either one or two of those go into the center of the table. And everybody at first knows who everybody else is.
I'm Daniel.
And the round starts so you're forced to trade these cards with someone else. And whenever you trade a card with someone else, you take your card and you take their card and put them under the table, in this case out of camera frame, and then mix them. And you can trade them, or maybe not. The other person doesn't know, but you should know. Sometimes even you don't know because you forget what you did to the cards. So after that initial round of confusion, and obviously you can also trade cards with the center cards on the table. After that initial round of confusion, you have 3 possible actions that you can do on your turn. The first one you already know. You can trade your card with someone else, or not. Or yes, but you forgot. Or
accidentally, that's the word you're looking for.
Now, if you are really confused and are not sure what you have, your second possible action is to look at your card. But that's literally all you can do. You don't get any points for that. Or you say who you are and then reap the benefits of saying who you are. So let's say I have the card the King. If you are the king, you get 3 coins. Lovely paper money.
Don't throw them at me.
We are rich. We can afford throwing money around.
Where's the third one? There, I have 2.
I have an antler on my knee, so... So if I say I'm the king, and mind you, I do that without revealing my cards. So I'm saying I'm the king. Everybody else on the table now has the possibility to say, no, you're not. I'm the king.
Brah.
If nobody says that and everybody agrees that I'm the king, I get my 3 coins. Whether I am the king or not does not matter, and that my card is not revealed in that fashion. If someone else decides to challenge me and say, hey, I don't think so, you are not the king, I am the king, then the other player and me have to reveal the cards, and if someone or any of us has the king, that person gets the effect of the king in that particular moment right away. So if the other player actually does have the king, he gets 3 coins, and I, for lying, have to pay one of my hard-earned money to the bank. With that, I have described the entirety of the game to you. The victory condition to win the game is get 13 coins, and you're done. And obviously, there's different strategies depending on which cards are in play. Most cards are unique. There's literally just 2 cards that are that have 2 of them in there, and actually it makes sense because that is one of the effects of that card. So each card, like the king, gives you 3 coins. You could be the queen, that gives you 2 coins. You could be the thief, that also gives you 2 coins, but you take him away from the player sitting next to you. You could be the fraud. I think it's fraud. Is it Betrüger? In English? Yeah, you could be this guy. Now this guy has an interesting ability. He doesn't net you any money, so you don't get richer, but he allows you to win the game with 10 coins instead of 13, which, if you have 10 coins, even if you don't have the fraud, but if you claim to have the fraud and nobody else at the table knows if you have him or not, or even if they all don't have him because he's in the center of the table, someone at least has to challenge you because, well, if they don't, you win the game anyway, even if you don't have the card. So that's an interesting little effect going on. There's the witch that allows you to trade your money with the richest player on the table, or with, yeah, I think with the richest. There's the spy that allows you to look at your card and at someone else's card and then decide if you want to trade them. And whenever I say trade, that means under the table, out of sight for anybody else. The widow, who immediately gives you 10 gold coins, but not more. So widow and fraud, really good combination, very strong. And to almost walk into some political way, the bishop, who takes 2 coins from the rich, not really historically accurate, but well, he takes 2 coins from the rich.
Underneath all of that garment and stuff, there's Robin Hood.
Yeah, I see.
He's a Robin Hood
I
bishop.
see. There's the judge, and the judge gives you all the money that has been paid to the bank by everybody else, which is a good way to win a game if there's a lot of money there. And there's the jester, or the fool, however you want to call him, that gives you money, and you're allowed to trade cards of other players, which is also a very, very frustrating ability to have.
For the other players.
So
not frustrating for you.
So as you can see, there's a whole lot of different cards, and some cards come with a recommendation, only use this if you are 8 or more players, or some like the judge has a little exclamation mark because he always has to be in play. The game manual itself recommends that you have at least a third of rolls in play that generate money, and all that do have little gold coin bags at the bottom. The manual comes with a recommended setup of which characters to use for a particular size of people playing this game. But you can essentially just go by the rules and say include 1 judge and have at least a third to be money generating folks in there. Now I said this game says 2 to 13 people, but suffice to say the 2 and 3 player game are a variant to the rule set, and those play a little bit differently. So it is more so the game I just described is mostly
4 to 13.
The 4 to 13 people setup, but the overall gist of the game doesn't change there with that.
So how did you like it?
Yeah, that is Mascerade, the game. I very much like this game because it is not as it is aggressive, similar to other games like Lost Legacy or Love Letter, but then again it isn't, because it's not only about guessing what someone else has to bring them down, but it's more about convincing someone else that you are someone who you might not be. And it is very balanced. If you leave the king to someone too long, they will run away and stomp you into the ground. We played this the first time at the warm-up in Essen, and immediately liked it.
Yeah.
I also have to say I really enjoy the artwork on the cards, which I guess this video again isn't doing this justice enough, but it has a very comic-y comic book style, almost like a graphic. I would say like a graphic novel style.
I was reminded of fairy tale books that I had as a kid.
Yeah, so I would say in comparison to Dark Tales, where Dark Tales is almost manga-esque, this reminds me more of a European or American style of drawing things with a more realistic approach, but still being over-accentuated, if that makes sense. Yeah, and in any way or form, very colorful, beautiful cards. A shame that you don't really look a lot at them during the play, because they're always face down. And you just say, well, I'm the king and I'd like to have more money, please. Like kings do.
That's nice. I'm very much agreeing with all of what you said, but I'd like to add that I'm really, really happy of having another very good game that is playable with very many people, and that is not Cards Against Humanity or other, like, really only party games that do not have a lot of strategy, but more like just the giggly fun factor. And I'm not saying those games are bad, they do have their table time, but I really like that there is another game that is suitable for a big group and that has quite a bit of strategic thinkiness to it, and that you just can play 2 or 3 rounds of and you can get totally confused, or you are really, really in the know of what card is where. I also like that it's very easy to teach and very quick to learn. And you can go into a game like 1.5 minutes in, like after you open the box. It's totally cool. And what else? There was another thing that I wanted to say, and I forgot. Oh yeah, I like that it is in the aggressive kind of games where you try to, well, kill somebody or throw somebody out, just like, again, Lost Legacy and Love Letter. But what I like is that with this one there's a very subtle level of intrigue going on that you have to play, and you have to be sneaky and don't be as blunt with your statements of whom is whom are you gonna challenge, blah blah blah, like with Love Letter. So it's way more subtle and way more thinky, and I really, really like it for that.
At some point we will discuss a card game without referring to Love Letter.
Yeah, one day.
This is not the video.
I'm so sorry. One day, but
yeah, I have to add that another thing I like about this game, although I don't dislike it in general, but this one comes without player elimination.
Yeah.
Which, depending on whom you're playing with, is good. Then again, I can imagine if you're playing this with 13 people, you might need more than the 30 minutes that this states that it will take.
Especially if you have a couple of beers in your system, and it takes things.
But similar to games like Doodle City or Sushi Dice, this still keeps everybody engaged in play by asking them, do you agree or disagree with what role I assume that I am or might be, and also just for keeping track of who has what and claims to be what. So there's not a lot of downtime in between turns for someone who's not actively playing a card.
Yeah. Nobody can doze off.
Yeah. And I would say the half-hour mark is a pretty good guesstimate. I think we played rounds between 10 minutes and 30 minutes, and fair enough that I'm pretty sure the 10-minute rounds were so short because we were just inexperienced with the game and let someone run off with
and we had
getting more money.
We had 2 or 3 characters on that make the game, in my opinion, a bit quicker, and then there's others that the game takes longer with. If you, for example, don't have the king but have another character in there, the king is very, very powerful, and he drives the game, like when it comes to how long one round takes. So
little components I didn't show but come with the game. There's little markers for each character that you can distribute on the table to remind everybody who's playing. Then everyone gets one of these beautiful mats that also give a short explanation of what characters are there, what do they do, and what someone else might have. This card is almost the entire rule set as well, but it's literally saying you can do the following actions: trade cards, look at your cards in secret or say who you are or you think you are.
Yeah.
That is also one of those games. I was aware that these games exist, and I think Coup is the more prominent one. There's some other games that rise up from that sort of bluffing I am or I claim to be games, so to speak. This is really nice to play. There's also already an expansion out if you want to mix up the characters, do some more variants in there. Still, if you're looking for a fun game that is very easy to explain, nice to look at for Christmas to play with even your parents, grandparents,
siblings,
this is
nieces and nephews.
This is very easy for everyone to get. It states age 10 and older, and I would assume that is a good age. Certainly kids that are younger may be able to lie proficiently, but keeping track of the lies of everybody else might for some prove difficult, for others not. Highly recommend this if you are still looking for a fun family bluffing game that just continues the tradition of lying to your relatives. No?
No, I'm so with you.
Yeah.
Totally agree. So on a scale of 1 to awesome? Give me a rating. Make it quick. We have another game to talk about. I want to know what you think.
I think that I'm the king.
That's true, but only by marriage. I'm the born queen. You only bear my name because you agreed to endure my presence at your house. So, no, for the reals. No, give me something more. Not like a gift, but a rating.
So this gets, from me, gets 10 money coins out of 1 fraud.
Ooh, yeah, that's way more accurate. And I'm with you. For me, it's a very solid 10. In the realm of games that this particular one belongs to, like the intrigue, strategic thinking, lying, deceiving kind of games, trick games, so to say. It's a very, very good one, and I really, really like all the different components that are in there, together with the replayability and the easiness and the fun and the well-balanced cards of characters in there. It's just very, very solid, very lovely game, and it will get a lot of playtime with the bigger groups as well on our gaming nights.
And I was thinking about saying if you have another game that is maybe similar to this or comparable, like the other game we're just about to talk about, I would still stand that I recommend looking at Mascerade simply because it has such a wide range of how many players you can play this with. Maybe that literally is just an issue for our group or something that is difficult to come by, but typically there's this magical line in the sand at the 4-player mark, and you either have games that go up to 4 players, maybe 5, but those are like 2 to 4 or 2 to 5, 3 to 5, or then 3 to 6 or 5 to whatever.
No, it has a very wide range.
And this really fits nicely in there. There's actually one game that is very popular that neither of us have played so far, so I can't really compare it to that. That would be a Werewolf.
Yeah.
Or the more recent One Night Ultimate Werewolf.
Or maybe one day.
Maybe later.
Who knows? Well, there's a birthday coming up in a couple of months, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Baby Jesus' birthday.
Do you want to share the funny stories now, or do you want to maybe combine them with the Avalon stories later?
Go with funny stories.
I really liked... So, the night before last, we were at my parents' house for another gaming night with a lovely dinner and a couple of glasses of wine in our system. So we played it like 2 glasses of white wine in.
King. I think thinking hurts.
My mom had so much trouble remembering when she shuffled the cards underneath the table. She really had trouble to remember which card she wanted to have of those two, or remember which character she had in one hand. So she messed up just because she couldn't remember. It was like 2 or 3 times in a row, and it was hilarious. She was really, well, trying not to let us know that she was like totally confused for the first time, maybe even the second time, the third time she was shuffling underneath the table and was like, hold it. Fuck, I don't know which one's in my right and left hand. Like blurting it out to the table, making us laugh. And
her solution to that was, in fact, to throw one of the cards to the floor. I did not look at it. And puts them up and literally puts it on the table, face up. Oh no! Oh, how can I? Oh,
it's so my mom. If you know her, you would say, yeah, that's quite typical for her. So we had a lot of fun playing it with my parents, and definitely saying we're going to take it to the next gaming night with your family, because I want to know how your mom and dad and uncle are going with the game.
This box will probably hit the table on one of the Christmas holidays with the family.
Yeah, definitely. I really liked it. I also liked the warm-up game, though it was more for the fact that G was able to run away with the points, and us not realizing it soon enough.
Yeah, I would recommend play the first round without being too concerned about how everything works out. Get to know the characters, and starting with the second round, you're good to go. You don't have to spend a lot of time reading the manual. I've just look up which cards to put on the table for the first game for the amount of players, and just go.
And enjoy it. That's pretty much.
There's even detailed explanations for each character if you should have questions.
But it's a lovely game, and I think that is a perfect segue into the other game that we're going to discuss today, which is Avalon. We are going into the realms of Merlin with the antlers on the box. That's magic.
Guinevere's with antlers.
Yeah, and that's another game where you have to be deceiving all of the other players on the table and have a perfect poker face. Yeah. Not saying who you are. Yeah. Which is very difficult.
I think we talked about the older brother of this, the Resistance, before on a Talk O'Clock episode. On another video. So this is also from Don Eskridge and is a variant to the Resistance. Plays in a little different setting. Surprise, Avalon. So you can get ready for some Merlin action, or Oberon and Percival and the Lady of the Lake, and so on and so on. But if you just look at these boards, they look very similar to the Resistance.
Yeah, but they have antlers.
If you are not familiar with the Resistance, let's give you a little refresher on how this works. So, Avalon is, surprise, surprise, another bluffing game. But this one works out a little bit different. You start the game by handing each player a roll card that either puts you onto the good side or the bad side. And depending on how many players you have a different amount of bad guys in the game. So let's say for a 5-player game you have 2 bad guys and 3 good guys. Now the good guys all do not know who the other good guys or bad guys are. And the 2 bad guys know who the other bad guy is, because the game starts with look at your card, put your card down, everybody close your eyes, and then only the bad guys open eyes and make eye contact, and hopefully don't make a sound to reveal them too soon. And then they close their eyes again and the game starts. So on a typical turn, this game lasts for up to 5 turns, and each turn has a set of tasks to do. So in this one, the first task is 2 guys have to go on an adventure and try to solve the adventure. So the way it works is, let's say I'm the first player, I can nominate 2 players, or I can nominate myself and another player and say, hey, do you want to follow me into this journey and complete this adventure for us? And if everybody at the table agrees, so there's a voting happening where everybody can either play the contra or the pro, and this information is laid out publicly, but everybody has to reveal at the same time, so there's no
if he says no, I say no.
Now I'm not a fan anymore of what's happening. So if everybody agrees, these players each get a set of cards that say success or failure. Now, if you are a good guy, you have to play the success card every time. If you are a bad guy, you can play either a success or a failure card. As soon as when the cards are then collected, shuffled and revealed, as soon as there's just one failure card in the deck, the mission fails. If they are all successes, the mission succeeds. If you win 3 for your team, you win the game. That's it. That is the resistance happening. Now Avalon gives a little twist to that. The good guys also have a character now who is called, if I find him, I don't because I'm badly prepared. Come here, old man.
I can't work with you.
There.
Not like that.
We have Merlin now on the team of the good guys.
I'm Merlin's beard.
And Merlin also knows who the bad guys are. And the bad guys do not know who Merlin is. So the way it works at the beginning, you go on with the bad guys look at each other, bad guys close their eyes, but the bad guys also have to hold out their hands and put up their thumb. And after the bad guys close the eyes, now Merlin opens his eyes and can see who has thumbs up is a bad guy.
Can they also use the middle finger, or does it have to be
that
the
is entirely up to your imagination. But
naughty?
So the good players now have someone on their team who actually knows who should not go onto the thing. But again, there's a little twist. Even if the bad guys lose the game, they still get a shot at winning the game, and if they are able to call out who is Merlin, they still win the game. So there's one bad guy who's called the assassin, and that is the player who makes the call. They can decide on it and say, I think he looked really in the nose suspicious, I think he's Merlin. And if the assassin says you're Merlin and reveals that that player actually is Merlin, the bad guys still win the game even if they did not win 3 of the adventures. Which gives a nice dynamic in there. Then again, even in the Resistance, the bad guys always had a really high chance to win the game, and by that mechanic, you automatically have a 30% chance to win at least in a 5-player game. It gets a little bit less than the more players you have, but I mean, a third chance to win the game just by guessing isn't too bad to find out what's going on. There's also other characters in here that also give special abilities or that have certain other effects which make it even more interesting, and that is actually the strength where Avalon comes in, that you have now more different roles, make different things, like Oberon, who is a bad guy, but the other bad guys don't know who he is. There's a bad guy, Mordred, who is unknown to Merlin, which is an interesting thing. There's also Morgana, who appears to be Merlin. So she could be the one who is also who could be under the suspicion to be the Merlin character. There's Parzival, who knows Merlin and might be able to distract the bad guys by pretending to be Merlin, but then he isn't, and so on. So there's a little bit more variety to the game of Resistance, and yes, in the Resistance you had event cards that also added some more well, unforeseen events, surprise, that spiced up the game. This one is more about you have this character, you have a new role, a new position, and again, this takes some time to be able to successfully pull off that character. In fact, very difficult to play a really good Merlin, because it is really hard not to reveal yourself by giving too much away, but still influencing the game further enough to bring it to where you want it to be. Also, this game is one of the ones we just said. It's 5 to 10 people, so that is on the upper limit. There's no variant in there to play it with 2 because, well, it's quite difficult, and you actually want to go for 6 or 7 people as the sweet spot in this game. Sadly, while it is highly entertaining to watch other people argue about it or accusing someone of being the bad guy, never gets old, and shouting and screaming at the table even before the first card is played is common in this game.
Mm-hmm.
The other players whose turn it is not at that point in time don't have a lot to do. So there's downtime in comparison to Mascerade, where you have to wait, and the only thing you can do is to either thumb up or thumb down. By the way, if you veto the companionship too often, and in fact, if you veto the companionship 5 times in a row, you automatically lose the game to the bad guys. So you could almost say you have 4 times to vote against, and then, well, there's
the 5th has to go.
The 5th
if you're the good ones.
And the good ones are always in the majority, so there's no reason not for all of them to vote to successfully vote the team to go on, whatever team is now postulated to go. And as you can see, each of these maps looks a little bit different for different player counts, where in let's say if you're playing the 10-player version, you have now 10 players and 4 bad guys in there. You have to send way more people onto the road. Here it is 3, 4, 4, 5, and 5. And the menu also comes with some variant rules, which are interesting. One I really like is the one where you can choose which adventure to go on. So you don't have to go through them from left to right, but you can say, I want to go on this one, and just try to use that to deduce who's the bad guy or who's not the bad guy. I mean, the only real chance you have to guesstimate who is bad or who's not is by looking how someone votes for or against a particular party, or knowing that the bad guys know who the good guys are and who the bad guys are, and also keeping in mind that Merlin knows everything. He knows who the good guys and the bad guys are. And last but not least, there's even like a mini expansion in the game, which is not in the default rule set, which is the Lady of the Lake, which you could also play, which allows you to look at other players' cards, and if you do that, you have to give the lady to the player that you looked at, and they may look at a card, but not at the one who looked at their card first, which gives even more dynamic in there. all together, I would say this is Resistance version 2, unless you're really fond of the event cards in Resistance, because there's nothing comparable in Avalon than to the Resistance. Obviously, apart from any theming, if you want your cyberpunk future, well, I mean, you could exchange some of the cards for the Resistance cards, but it'll be difficult to find future Merlin, like the Cyber Oracle.
But there's Doctor Who. He can bring Merlin to the future in his TARDIS and whatnot.
Yeah, it's... So that's Avalon. It's also a game where a lot of talking is involved, a lot of accusations are involved, which typically gets a lot louder than games like Masquerade. It's more on the same noise level as maybe Cash and Guns.
So don't play it next to the room where the little kids are sleeping on Christmas Eve or something. It's like they might catch Santa if they wake up.
Obviously, this is one of the games that highly benefits from trying to impersonate a medieval accent or some way of behaving with my lady and going with that all the time. Also, alcohol helps, but don't use too much of that because
otherwise
people tend to give their role away when drunk.
Yeah,
happens. But yeah,
so I heard.
If you know that you're gonna be a bigger group of 5 or more players at least, and really like a bit more of well, not direct interaction, but more of social interaction. You talk a lot more in Avalon with other players than you do in Masquerade. Yeah. In Masquerade, it's more like, I'm this dude. Do you agree? Yes or no?
Yeah, that's because there's no teams in Masquerade. Yeah. You team up like instantly in Avalon because it's the good guys versus the bad guys. Yeah. Although you can't be sure if there isn't a bad guy in your rows of good people.
True. So. And coup takes, I think, a lot longer. What does it suggest? Well, this also says 30 minutes. I don't think so. if you played this game a lot, maybe. And then again, if you played this game a lot, maybe not, because you keep on talking. So it might be a good idea to bring a timer, to have the rounds timed to a certain set of minutes and not get it out of hand with the accusation.
Analysis paralysis.
No, not really. It's more like
whom should I take? And that. Yeah, and some people might get lost.
You're discussing, but I can see that people get annoyed if you go on blathering about that.
Or not even, just like sitting there silent with the markers in hand. Who am I going to take? Looking at all the people, and everything happens in their head, and everyone else like.
Although I have to say we didn't have that.
No, we didn't have that, but we have a very special kind of gaming group. We all have very talkative people. We don't have anybody that is like really, really silent all the time.
I mean, Resistance is the game that led to a friend of mine. Even after we played the Resistance, and he was sitting left of me, and every time You're the stupid spy, I can smell it. And he, in fact, was the spy most of the time. And from that point on, everybody who's sitting on that, actually,
my spot,
where Sarah is sitting on the couch, is always accused of being the spy or the bad guy.
More often than not, they are the spies. So I guess it's just that aura of the seat here. I'm not a spy. I'm not.
And then got so ridiculous that afterwards we played a different game, Hanabi, which is a cooperative game, and I said I gave a hint to him, which he rebutted to me. He said, "I don't trust you anymore." It's like, this is not the same game. This is
Yeah.
But there's Avalon and Resistance are amazing games if you want to have the chance to shout at your friends and curse them.
And be
even-
nice to each
even-
other
even,
afterwards.
even if you don't have a lot of potential for conflict in your lives. So it's almost a
therapeutic
um,
outlet
yeah.
of any anger that you might have in your life, but that has nothing to do with your friends because they're just awesome and totally nice people and you don't disagree about very many things. Well, it's very difficult to be your friend. And so you can shout at them and curse at them and whatnot in a nice fashion. Afterwards, you're all good again. It's lovely. So, I guess that already said what we liked, but is there anything you want to add to the like-dislike chapter that we just skipped?
No,
for now?
I think I already mentioned that. So things I'm not too fond of is that the group requirement, just the amount of player size, which I mean that's the game. It's really hard to change it, but it's a game. The Resistance and Avalon hit the table more seldom than all the other games, simply because in most times we're not 5 or more people, or we don't always want to play that kind of game because it actually is exhausting if you play a couple of rounds. But then whenever we play it, I really like it.
Yeah.
Also, you don't get to do something. There's some value of keeping everybody occupied at the table. It's not too bad if you have a fun group, everybody's laughing and you don't realize that, but if someone's waiting on someone, that is not a great experience. So
if you don't have the talkative people that discuss like strategies and things that they saw or what they assume of somebody else at the table while another person does their turn, it can get kind of long-winded and boring if it's more of the non-talkative group. But then again, this game is supposed to be played in a way that you discuss and talk and all of that during the game while somebody else makes their turn and decides whom they're going to take on any adventure.
So for me, that's it gets 4 cards, and I'm not going to show you how many are failures.
Yeah. So what I wanted to add with what I like, here's the thing. I like Avalon more than Resistance, and this is why. I liked Resistance as the first game with that kind of mechanic and everything, and I liked the event cards and whatnot, but Avalon has the advantage that it can get you into character or into the story or into the time that it's supposed to be. You can enter fairy tale land, which I at least can't with Resistance. I can't get into my character. If I'm the spy or the good guy, it doesn't matter, because the event cards don't do anything for me. But the characters that you get here, it being Merlin or Sir Percival or whomever you are getting as a character for the game, I can go in. It's a nicer path into, or a doorstep into a magical fairy tale land that actually gets me to the point where I say, hey, I'm not just bad and good guys fighting each other, but you can really go into this, I'm in a magical land and I am a magician, I have to make sure that the good guys are surviving at Castle Camelot and that I can fight off the Dark Knight and whatnot by being Merlin and being very wise at the table with what I'm about to say and do and whatnot. So I really liked that aspect of Avalon, and If I could choose which of these two games I would bring to your table in a suitable group, I'd say Avalon. It's just...
Yeah,
I'm not saying Resistance is blunt or bad or anything. It's just that it's like Resistance 2.0 and they put the cherry on top. That's what they did. And I really like it.
There's a surprising large amount of people who really like the Resistance and like it more than Avalon. If you own the Resistance and you really like the Resistance, I'd say it's worth taking a look at Avalon. There might be something in there for you. If you don't own either of them, I would almost recommend to get started with Avalon, simply because it feels more well-rounded. There's more in the box in terms of gameplay that you can modify to suit your needs. Due to the different role cards. Now you could argue that you can do something similar by either putting in or out the event cards that are also available in the Resistance. But I would say the additional characters or the different characters here have a bigger impact to gameplay by and that's how my mom tried to get into this video by calling us. Now I entirely forgot my train of thought. I remember that I was talking about Resistance versus Avalon. So the general gist, for me at least, is if you don't own both, I would get started with Avalon and mix and match. And if you enjoy the base idea of the game, you might want to try Resistance or any other game. There's actually a couple of similar games out there. This is also the same territory that Werewolf covers. So just give it a try. I think if you want to just have one in your collection and be able to pull out features and modify things, Avalon is a more safer bet. And also I would almost say that the theme is has more appeal to more people. I would say I know more folks who are way more into the fantasy stuff than into the dystopian cyberpunk future kind of thing.
So the rating, do you want to...
I already rated it.
Yeah, but do you want to make it open?
No.
Well, then
That's the point of the game.
Then me as the Merlin, I say he's a good guy. And my rating from 1 to 10 is a 9, just because it's not a 10 because of the downtime while others decide, and I know that in our gaming group that's not the case, but we are very lucky with a very agile and loud and talkative gaming group that we have, and not everybody has that. So that's the one thing where I'm like, not perfect, but all in all, a very, very great game. So, segue. Since we were at the liking, what kind of things, especially in December on weekends, do you like? And don't go with sleeping and magic at the PC now. I'm having a segue here.
To have my quiet private time. I was about to say, but no, okay.
You shouldn't have said that before.
Coffee. It's okay.
Got that. While your mom called, I made him a new cup of coffee.
Food is okay. Weekends, typically the time where everybody has time to actually play a game.
So it's games, right?
Yeah.
Do you like spending time with maybe new games on weekends?
In general, that's not something particular.
Okay, so then we wait for Sunday or Monday. You're so
Okay.
mean. You're so mean. Apparently, my husband doesn't want to open his next advent calendar box on a gamer's couch.
Just let me demonstrate to you the incredible fortitude of my personal resistance to presents, which my wife does not have. So see the boxes in the back. Do you think we put them up just for the video? No, they're here the entire week. So whenever I'm here in the living room, I have to look at the boxes and I'm not allowed to open them, shake them, or smell at them to find out if it was living or not.
He could do X-rays, but
yeah,
he's not.
So I'm fine with that. I can totally not think about that and not get sort of like, well, what's in there? That is an entirely different thing for someone else on this video who is like, even if I mention that there might be something coming, like tomorrow might be something like a present or something that is useful. The next hours, even she won't sleep. She will just sit there. Is it this? Is it that? What can I do with it? Is it
heavy?
Is it low? Is it, and keeps on guessing and cannot let it rest for even a single day. So
he was mean. He said it more than one day beforehand that he has an advent calendar gift for me as well, and then I let it go the first time. And then he said the day before, oh, it's probably gonna come tomorrow. It's like, thank you. I was trying so hard to forget it, and you just keep on poking. And then I said, okay, now I'm playing the guessing game with you, and I'm not gonna let you sleep in bed, like laying there, like, is it that? Is it that? Is it that? And he was like, oh, I'm so tired. I want to sleep. He's like, oh, wife, shut up. And I'm like, no, I'm payback time. I wanna know now. So. And he accuses me of not being happy about it if I guess it beforehand, which is so not true.
So let's say for this turn I have the king's mandate. Do you want to accompany myself on a journey, on an adventure?
Yes.
To open an advent present?
Yes. Okay. I want.
I'm contra.
What? It's week 2. Come on, Smalley, let it go. Let it go. Not gonna sing. This is week 2. And now the kids can be a bit more in the middle and in screen.
It's a box. Sounds like dice.
Wanna guess?
Sounds like at least 10 dice, maybe more. Well, let's find out. The excitement. You have to keep on talking. People get it.
I wanted to make dramatic music in here.
People fall asleep on the internet way quicker than you might think.
Should be able to look at him from my angle, like.
Are you ready?
I'm so ready
for the depresenting. Let's find out. It's
a nose. What is it? What is it, dear Santa?
It's superheroes, dice heroes. The Uncanny X-Men, Dice Masters. The 2-player starter set. Now I have to find someone I can play this with.
You know, it would be so nice if I would be in a good marriage. Like, if my husband actually liked spending time with me and playing board games and only being divorced during the game and not being, well,
this says choking hazard, so not for children.
I'm not a kid. I look like a kid with the antlers, I know, but once I take them off, I'm a whole adult person thing again. I'm Super Sarah. Or not.
This might surprise you because it's really, really popular, it seems. At least there's some people on the internet who might or not have the name Vassal, who are really, really into this game. And I think not long ago they actually made a top 10 list of really good dice games.
Yeah, like 1.5 weeks ago, I guess.
And this is really high up. So the I'm looking forward to playing this. I haven't played this at all. I really like superheroes, specifically the Marvel X-Men stuff. So yeah, this is really going to be fun to try out.
Is it going to hit the table tonight?
Maybe tonight or tomorrow. We'll have to.
Tonight. I have to video edit a lot of things tomorrow. That's why we're shooting tonight. So that I can do voice overing and editing.
But tonight is Sunday.
No, like our real time tonight, not the.
It is Sunday. Believe me.
You said Saturday. You did let the cat out of the bag.
What?
I'm gonna rewind. What? Don't be.
It's a very.
Welcome to my marriage.
Now, attention! Horrible pun incoming. It's a very Christmassy December, because this is the second dice game that.
Yeah.
So that is the theme. It is December.
At least for the first 2 weeks.
Ah. Huh.
Was I clever?
December?
Was I clever? With a.
Do you want me now to
throw
a treat at you, or is it like a cookie?
I'm wearing antlers, for God's sakes! I want to have a top.
I'm wearing at least one Christmas hat. Actually, like a double hat.
It's a bag.
Now it's a hat.
You see, we're going to have a very good and funny night at our house. And the day tomorrow will probably be no different. So, I'd say we'd go now and wrap this thing up. And we're going to see you next week with another episode of The Gamer's Couch. He might be in the bag next week, like talking with
What's in the bag? What's in the bag? Oh no, that's wrong box, wrong movie.
With a muffled voice, if he doesn't behave.
Because I'm not a mufflon.
I don't know if that's an English word as well. Otherwise, that's the German lesson of the week.
And it is also history lesson number 1, because I think it is not. Didn't it die out?
That's a mammoth. Let me see.
We will cut this out eventually if.
No. Yeah, you know I like driving cars. So. And that was another German word. Yay. Yay me.
So?
Yeah. Because I didn't say so. I said so.
Yeah,
like.
It's the same word.
Yeah, but the
that doesn't tell
pronunciation was not there was.
That doesn't tell you if it's still alive.
But it tells me what the English word is for one. I want to know.
Mufflon.
Is it?
Sure.
Verdammt.
Mufflon. Huh.
So the English word for the mufflon is
Mufflon.
So now let's check if they're extinct.
Well, if you can buy a Mouflon purse, I guess no.
That doesn't. No. Mouflon. Wikipedia. See if what they say. They're not reliable, but in Buffalo Zoo. Okay.
Yeah, that seems to be quite...
European in the German forest. Their horned, blah, 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 range, blah,
there's
subspecies, blah.
There's color pictures available, so they
Yeah,
seem
they're
to
alive.
be alive.
Yeah, so, see.
Good on you, Mouflon. All of you, I guess.
I was about to say. Alright. So now we're so much smarter, and we had a German lesson, and we had an Advent gift, and we had antlers and bags.
I'm losing my Christmas hat because it's...
And we have the whole... And this is... he doesn't need Botox, he just needs a Christmas hat. Oh God. So, enough of the silliness. Come on, make a normal face. Make it. Come on. Be lovely, be sweet, be handsome again. Thank you.
German. I'm not a Swede. Goodbye.
Thanks very much for enduring this silly vlog.
Bye.
Have a very good one. We're going to see you next week, and enjoy whatever you're going to do. Bye bye.
Goodbye.